Kelly Duval, and I ride Fearless.
Hi, I'm Kelly Timmerman, and I ride Fearless.
My name is Stetson Jorgensen, and I ride Fearless.
My name is Latrice Duke, and I ride Fearless.
I'm Hazley, and I ride Fearless.
My name is Dusty Hall, and I ride Fearless.
My name is Cole Bates, and I fight Fearless.
I'm Floyd J. Smith. I ride Fearless. Always have and always will.
Hello, Las Vegas, and welcome to the Ride Fearless Show. I am your show host, Sydney Blanchard, and you're watching Ride Fearless with mental game specialist, Tenney Training. But first, let's hear from our artist today, Chase Richburg. Welcome to the show, Chase. We are all very excited to hear from you today, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Chase Richburg. I'm from Brazoria, Texas, and I sing honky-tonk music.
How did you get into music? You could use this one.
I just always loved country music as a little bitty kid. Well, I was never really little bitty, I guess, but as a kid, I loved country music. And then I entered my high school talent show as a joke, and I won it, and I thought, well, what the heck, you know, and so here we are.
A hidden talent, and away you went.
That's right.
Well, are you sharing a song with us today that has a special meaning to you?
A couple of them, I think so.
Well, we're excited to hear it. Take it away.
Well, this first song here is a brand new one we just put out about 2 weeks ago. It's called The Good One. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. It goes on like this. Single bars and blind dates, classifieds and apps on the phone. So many lonely people searching for true love. That one in a million, she can be so hard to find. Don't know why I couldn't see it when she was mine. 'Cause I had a good one, beautiful woman, with more love than I could imagine. Let it slip right through my hand, wasting time, never making plans, and losing her is my greatest loss. Even though I know she's better off with the new life she's found. Next time I'll know just what to do, should a good one come around. How we can sit around, we can talk all day about what could have been, what should have been, but what gets me the most is I might not ever have a chance again. 'Cause I had a good one, beautiful woman, with more love than I could imagine. Let it slip right through my hand, wasting time, never making plans, and losing her is my greatest loss. Even though I know she's better off with the new life she's found. Next time I'll know just what to do, should a good one come around. Oh God, please, let a good one come around. called A Good One. Thank you so much. Pick it up now. This next song. Do we have any Texas Aggies out there this afternoon? One of them. All right, maybe somewhere around there. Well, this song's about moving to College Station, Texas, and failing out of Texas A&M University and staying there for the next 10 years. This is a whole song about it. It's called He'll Never Be a Lawyer because he can't pass a bar. His daddy sent him to college to get a degree, but he spent his whole tuition on beer and whiskey. He never cracked a book, but he could pop the top. He was living it up while his grades dropped. Lord, he'll never be a lawyer. He can't pass a bar, but he can make a live on playing his guitar. He might be a politician, a movie star, but he'll never be a lawyer cause he can't pass a bar. Them's his true words. Now if they turn a honky-tonk into a skill, he'd have a master's in darts, a PhD in pool. If his thirst for education matches his taste for the wine, he would be a judge in just a matter of time. Lord, he'll never be a lawyer. He can't pass a bar, but he can make a live on playing his guitar. He might be a politician, a movie star, but he'll never be a lawyer because he can't pass a bar.
Everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chase, for opening for the most fearless show in Las Vegas. I thoroughly enjoyed that last song. It's so fun, and that was the one that popped up when I was searching for people to sing on the Ride Fearless show.
That's our hit.
Where can we find you next?
We are going to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center at Samsville Gallery tomorrow, 1 o'clock.
That's great. Well, we look forward to following you. Thank you so much for coming today. One more round of applause, please, for Chase Richburg. Everybody, please welcome to the stage our guests for today are the mental game specialists, Lyman and Gwen Tenney. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thanks for having us.
I know it was a long drive. You drove 3 hours. You were busy the whole time.
This coaching business is busy. Yeah.
How did you guys get into coaching for rodeo and for other sports? How did you get into this?
So I owned a feed store at one point in my life, and this guy says, hey, what do you want to do? Is this what you want to do forever? And I said, well, I don't know, maybe not, but I don't know what I want to do. And so you want to tell them the rest of the story?
Well, through a lot of questioning my wife, I was just asking her, what we live once, what is it that you want out of life? And it took a long time to draw it out of her because she had some limiting beliefs. And so she just said, I want to be a coach, speaker, trainer. So then she found a program and she went through the John Maxwell program. Then she went through the mentorship with them. And then she found Bob Proctor, and then we both went through that system. We went and spent a week with him up there, and then she started coaching. I was doing my rodeo thing.
It's kind of a funny story. Notice he doesn't have a thumb.
Oh no, I didn't. Are you a team roper?
No.
So mental game coaching consists of possibly losing legs.
Well, at least that might be what drove him to actually doing the mental game coaching thing.
Yeah, I was pretty successful training horses, shooting horses, and then I could build barns. And I grew up on a ranch. We had to do everything ourselves. So anything needed to be done, we did it. We didn't really call anybody. We were out in the country, and we just had to figure it out. So pretty handy growing up. But whenever she was coaching clients and I lost that thumb, she said, I have 2 clients, but they wrote, and you're going to coach them.
And he said, I don't know about that. Well, the rest is history. Here we are.
Oh, he loved it.
He loved it. Every minute of it. He's amazing at this coaching gig. And the fun part for us is that because we both do it, we can really work with each other and work really for the best of our clients because we have 2 different perspectives, right? So he rodeos now, ropes now.
Yeah, mainly do the World Series.
Right. We live in Wickenburg, so you can imagine.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
They rope once or twice a year.
A little bit. And so he's got that whole perspective of he's still competing. He's still doing all those things. And my background is more education and training. I do professional development, corporate world, education, all kinds of things. And so for the both of us together, it's kind of it's a great combination because we have 2 totally different perspectives, also the male and female perspective, but we can really serve our clients the best that way.
And what do your perspectives look like when it goes into coaching an athlete? How do you pick, which one of you work with specific athletes, and what are the perspectives that you guys take when coaching these athletes to success?
So we do an interview process before we coach anybody because we want to make sure that we can serve them to the best. And if we can't, then maybe someone else can. But when we interview somebody, we understand how they were raised. We do a lot of questions about their programming. And not to get into the next part of this interview too early, is understanding somebody at the core, so then we can enhance the things that we need to enhance, and then we can change the things that need to be changed. And sometimes it's just a little 5-degree shift in perspective. And then to answer the second part of your question, you want to take that?
Who chooses?
Yeah, sometimes we do it together, but you always are getting both of us.
Yeah, so that's what happens is the system that we use is a recording. So when people come to us and coach, it's through video conferencing most of the time, sometimes in person. But we have this system, and so if he's coaching with them, then I can look at that video later and say, you know what, maybe did you consider this? Did you think about this? I'm hearing this. And so we just work together that way. And so we just kind of can back each other up that way. But really, the whole coaching process is driven by the client. It's not what we want for them. It's what they are looking for.
And what is a client typically looking for when they contact you for the mental game coaching?
Most of the time, it's confidence. Yeah. They're just looking for confidence. And it doesn't matter. We coach kids who are 8 years old and people who are 80 years old. It doesn't matter the sport. It applies to everybody, and really they're just looking for confidence. Even the highest level competitor, I'm sure you know that there's a time or not that you need some confidence boost, right? And that really comes from understanding the core of the person. There's a lot of information out there, but what we really work on is the person understanding who they are, so that therefore they can step into their greatness. What does that look like?
So you're matching a program based on a person's personality. And how they grew up, what you're saying at their core. I really like that. And it's interesting that you said that, we all struggle with confidence. Yesterday we had
NFR qualifier Latricia Duke on the stage. She's not only qualified on her stallion, GM High Roller, she also trained Duke, which is world champion barrel horse with Brittany Posey. She's trained W. Perry world champions. She's trained slot race champions. And she sat right where you're sitting and said, I struggle with confidence, and I want everyone to know that this is a humbling sport and that everybody struggles with it. And, you know, I definitely, we all do. But when you hear somebody like that admit that, it actually kind of helps a lot in a way, because you don't feel like, sometimes when you're struggling for confidence, it feels like you're going backwards.
Yeah.
And, and you're like not who you once were.
Right.
You know, and so how do you kind of handle that situation?
Well, what we know is that high performers are very connected to their results, right? And so no way.
That's never the case. They don't care about their results.
So self-image, they're connected to those results, and high performers are typically used to getting those results. And so when they don't, now who am I? Right? Because I'm used to being at the top of my game, but now suddenly I'm not at the top of my game. And so how do I navigate who I am? And so that's really what we're looking at, is who are you at the core, and how can we help support that? Because that's really the most important thing, right? Is who you are at your core is going to drive all of your behavior, right? The fear of not being enough.
Can you give me an example of figuring out who somebody is at their core and how you coach them through that?
Yeah, I would say based on your programming, whenever you're raised, some people are raised religious, some people are raised, I mean, there's 10 things I could say, but a lot of it is the spiritual side. And so when you understand who you're created to be, your confidence, true confidence, how we coach, and it sounds simple, but it's not simple to do. And true confidence, most people get their confidence from their results. And that's why you were just saying she was all the accolades, but she had self-doubt. And so this world programs us with a lot of self-doubt. But if you go back to the original creator, you know, for us, it's God as Christians and believers, then that's the source of confidence. And it can never be taken away, no matter how your results, how great they are or how mediocre they are.
And it boils down to, like I said just a second ago, is not feeling like you're enough in one way or another, right? Somebody along the way has told you you're not good at that, whatever. There's lots of messaging that goes into people from the time that they're born, right? And so that messaging is building up their programming, is like what he was talking about. Now I've got this program running in my head all the time, and I'm either fighting it or I'm going to learn how to control it, right?
And what does reprogramming your mind for success look like in your guys' program?
So we teach with a mental master. And so the mental master is that it looks like a little, well, it looks just like this, actually, now that I think about it. And so can I use you for a minute? So this top part is your conscious mind, and that's where all of your ideas are in there. So when you're feeling this issue, you're worried about something. You doubt your ability. You're worried about what somebody's going to say about you, especially in the world of social media, right? Hello, Facebook lines. And then right here is where fear lives. It's in your subconscious mind, and that's where your programming is building constantly. So if you're building a programming of fear, then your body is going to naturally respond to that. So just think about, if you ride into the arena, if you're coming up the alley and you're like, oh my gosh, the first girl, right?
Or my horse didn't work last time I was here.
Or what? Yeah, right?
You guys are making me nervous just talking about it.
The beauty of it, though, is that I'm taking you right now down the negative path. There is a positive direction that you can take that. And so really when you learn better, when you know better, when you do better, now you can train your subconscious mind to work. This is what we call muscle memory, right? It's just my subconscious mind is working the way that I'm asking it to work in a positive direction, right? So now my body is responding to my thinking process. that's how it's really that. Knowing who you are and then training how your mind really works to drive your body.
Let me give you a simple formula that she came up with. Maybe overcomplicated it there because you have so much great information. But it's everything that we do is based on how we operate as human beings. And everything begins with one thing, a thought or an idea. And your superpower that most people have never been taught of or never heard is that you can take every thought captive.
Okay.
That's the key to the mental game. That's the step. If you can master, then you can control either fear or faith as the emotion attached to any idea.
Can you give an example of an idea? Or I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Okay, let me get nervous. Excuse me while I tap into the fear. Say you're going into the short bow or the last round here at the NFR and you're winning the average. What would it look like to take a negative thought captive like what you're talking about and lassoing it and turning it around?
Perfect. So a negative thought would be, I don't want to hit the barrel. All I have to do is keep them up and I'll win the average. My horse has been a little tight. So those are the negative ideas that are coming around. So taking that idea captive is just like grabbing it out of the air and you're like, is this thought going to serve me? And no, this is not what I want. So it's like, what do I want? My job tonight is to make my perfect run. And that's all of our clients usually get to a perfect run. And you visualize, okay, on this particular horse, in this scenario, I have my perfect average run. And you might have 3 different runs, sometimes full. So you have an average run, you have a full out, go for it, record-breaking run that we're going to go do everything we can and get after. You know, or it's just like maybe you're out of the average and you're trying to get a check. You know, that's pays $36,000 for that round, and so that's a different run. But if you have that run already pre-programmed, like this is my run on this horse. When I go, this is my point in the barrel racing especially. Okay, here's my pocket on this horse. Here's what I do. Here's with my hands. Here's when I sit. Here's when I kick. And you just, first barrel here, second barrel there. Hit your spots. So every time that negative idea, and even though you do your perfect run, that negative idea is going to, but what if? But what if I don't lift my leg, or if the ground doesn't hold, or what? Those are negative thoughts. No, I have this perfect run, and I'm going to trust that I can execute this. And in the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What you think about, you become. So if we capture every thought, and we go to the positive side, and it's a thought plus an emotion. Can I do this? Well, heck yeah, I can do it. And I made it to the NFR. I'm at the final round.
Here I am.
But what you're going to find out, I need to say this today because we coach at the highest level. One of our clients is at the NFR. A couple of our clients won Pendleton this year. One was a rookie, and he won it his first year out. Big rodeo, right? And so we've had success at the highest level. And then we have a lady who's coming to her first finale, and she started roping 2 years ago, and a little older. So to keep the positive mindset, you take the thought captive, and you always say, what is it that I want? What's the outcome? Can I do it? Yes, that's the faith. I can do it. I've done it 10 times or 10,000 times. So now what is it that I need to do? And you just focus on what you're going to execute, and then you go execute it with full faith and confidence. And that confidence comes from within, not the result. And the result will take care of itself. We're always trying to control that outcome. And in our program, we're outcome independent. You control the process. You hear that all the time. You control the process. You control what is in your control. If your horse slips on the ground and you hit a barrel, that's just the way it is. I was in the short round yesterday. I thought my horse shorted me, but my horse tripped, hit the steer in the short round. And I thought, she's cheating and going, and threw me a little off balance, and I roped the leg. And that's just, I didn't even realize how I was focused on but what are you going to do about that? Like, does that mean, oh no, I have to revamp everything? So to stay on that positive side, the formula is thoughts plus belief multiplied by action equals success.
And what you were describing was actually the 4 R's, which is recognize, oh gosh, there's that thought. It's here, right?
The negative one.
The negative one, yeah. The one we don't want. And then release it. And when we say release, this is where most people like wallow in it. You know, like, oh my gosh, I've got to get rid of that thought and I can't, right? And so now we're just creating more of that thought. So the release is actually like let go, just like a balloon. Yeah. Like you've got a helium balloon, just let it go, right? But what he's just describing here is the replace factor. So we have to replace that thought, the negative thought, with our perfect run. Yeah. Or with what is it that I'm actually wanting to get, right? And then the fourth R is repeat, because those thoughts are going to show back up no matter what level, what experience. That's what you're just talking about with the 3 soon.
Yeah.
Right?
That's very interesting. A lot of what you said is interesting. I can relate a lot to it. One of the things being, I remember my rookie year, I was at Reno. I don't know. Reno used to be a slack back then, and then it wasn't progressive. It was just one big long one round and a short. And I competed in slack, and I did really well, and I made the short go. But we were running around trying to win rookie and stuff. So we get back to the short go, and I had never been around Brittany Posey, Mary Berger, Elisa, Sherry, like everybody was in the short go. And so I'm warming up and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not, good enough to be here with them. And my mom must have been able to see it come over my face. And she walked up to me, and I'll never forget this because this is something I always tell myself if I do get nervous, is just do your job. AKA make it simple, get to your points. Just do your job and leave the rest up to God. Yeah. Leave the winning up to God. Right. And that is all. There's no more that you can do other than that.
That's outcome independence. And I call it mental maturity, right? When you can take the thought captive, that's the power that we have that we don't understand that we have because we're so wrapped up in the circumstance. And I'm surrounded by all these grays.
Yeah.
Right? Like
that's where it started, huh?
Right? Like, oh my gosh, it's a little overwhelming. And do I really belong here? And do I really deserve to be here? And of course you do. You're there, right? But it's a little scary at that time. So that's what we do. Train them to have that arsenal. Like, what am I going to do in this deal?
Well, it's only scary because you're comparing yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
And not focus on what you said. Trust the process, trust God.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just do all we can ever do in our life is our best today. Yeah. And my best today might not be as good as my best tomorrow. Right. I might be tired. I might have had something going on with a horse, staying up all night, and I might be a little off. Today, I might not have got to practice for 6 months because of something going on, horse or problem or something going on, and I got to jump on this horse and just, get after it. And so sometimes people are ultra successful in that scenario. Yeah. And then sometimes we get to practice and we expect to win and we show up and then we go and then we're let down. And then we're like, well, why do I practice when? And we just play these mind games. And that's because we're so connected to the results. And this is where
self-worth.
That's where your trouble. I lived this for 40 years of my life. Every time I won.
And then I came into his life. Everything changed.
Everything was fixed.
Everything.
Magically blissful.
Magical.
A snap of the fingers. So I lived, if I won, I felt great. And you know the answer when I didn't do good. And I'll tell you a quick story because it's worth telling about this lady. I was trying to impress her.
Wait a minute. Should I be concerned?
You should be really concerned.
Okay.
So I asked her to go to a jackpot with me. It was a World Series qualifier, and it was about 4 hours away. Nope, that's a hop, skip, and a jump for us. So we go, and I wrote terrible. And I'm embarrassed. Because my self-worth was tied to my results, and I'm trying to win this girl's heart. And so there was added pressure, what people would say. I'm trying to impress her with my rope, my horse. It's like, I'm cool, I'm a winner. And I mean, I don't even know if I got out of the first round. I have no idea. It was bad. And
I don't know either. Interestingly enough.
That's the funny part about it is no one knows. Yeah. But at that moment, I come back and I don't even realize I'm mad because I'm still pretty happy she's around. I'm trying to impress her, but my whole demeanor changed. She recognized it. And
It
so
wasn't hard.
it was hard for me because that's just the way I was my whole life. If you don't do good, you're kind of a jerk. What she ended up telling me 4 minutes before I dropped her off at her house. She goes, if this is the way it's going to be, I'm not going to go with you.
Oh, wow. Well, good for you. I mean, that's the
Hello.
way, set the boundary. Date one, you guys.
I mean, it was cool. I liked him, but I didn't like that, so I wasn't gonna have it. And it was what it was. Like,
Well, the surprising thing to me was she's like, and I go, what do you mean? Like, I had no clue. She's like, you were a jerk. I like this girl.
Yeah, she just told you how it was.
I need that in my life. To someone that's brave enough to say, hey, you're kind of being a jerk. You know, you weren't doing anything bad, but I was just tying the horse up, putting the bucket, and, you know, just putting the ropes up. You've been there, I'm sure, where you just have that attitude.
No, I'm perfect.
Yes, you are.
You are,
absolutely.
actually.
We don't do
Yeah,
perfect.
let's elaborate on this.
yeah, let's elaborate on that. Okay, so it's kind of a tough concept, but the approach that we come from is nobody's broken. We don't need to fix people, right? And that's the approach that the majority of the world comes from, is that we're looking at people from lack and limitation. There's a negative something and we need to fix it. What we're doing is we're saying, absolutely, like, everybody here is perfectly them, and they are who they are supposed to be. You were supposed to be where you were supposed to be, right? And you had everything that you needed in order to be there. So you were perfect for that purpose. And that's what we're really looking at, is the perfection in people and how do we bring it out. It's not that we do perfect all the time, because that's a separate thing. But the problem is we don't really look at ourselves as perfect. We look at ourselves as broken, and that's when all that self-doubt shows up, right?
You want me to elaborate a little bit into something I use with some clients, because that's a pretty tough concept. It was tough for me.
It is tough.
And so I would ask people, is that horse perfectly a horse?
No? I feel like I'm taking a test.
You just failed.
I feel.
You failed.
No.
No, is a horse
horse
perfect to be a horse, or is it a dog or a cat or a human?
Oh, a horse is a horse.
A horse is a horse. Is such a horse, and we can go to kindergarten.
Of
Yes, of course, is a horse. But no, that simple concept, is a horse perfectly a horse? A horse would make a horrible dog.
I see. Okay.
And so you're perfectly you. You're created perfect. An apple tree is perfectly an apple tree. It's not a peach tree and
It's
so
a whole is another word for this definition of perfect. Is a horse a whole horse? Is the apple tree whole as an apple tree?
It's
or does it
complete.
need to be an orange tree or a lemon tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Getting it. I'm learning.
You got it. It's complete. You're complete. Creation doesn't make mistakes. You're not a mistake. And a lot of times we feel because we make mistakes, we are those mistakes. That's how I grew up for 40 years. I owned and I was my mistakes. No, I'm created perfectly as a Christian in the image of God, because He's all-knowing and He's perfect. And He makes no mistakes. And He created me. When you can grasp that true if you want to know the basis of a mental game, right there. Meditate on that, think about that. Like, if He's an all-knowing creator and He makes no mistakes, and He created me in His likeness, that's where true confidence lies, from within, knowing that, and all things are for good for those that love Him. You can do all things through Christ.
Mhm.
I can go verse after verse after verse.
For 40 years is a long time to be stuck in a specific mindset. So what did the process look like for you specifically to not only get out of something that you were basically trained your whole life to live your life a certain way mentally? How did you crawl out of that? And even now you're thriving and you're helping others succeed and be mentally tough. What did that look like for you?
For me, I was kicking and screaming, because when she challenged me,
True.
she told me I was roping, and I was like, well, I didn't get my horse in the left lane where I want him to really crack it on those horns. And she's like, well, what did you do right? And I couldn't even think of it.
Oh no, that is bad.
It's like, no, I was
Worse than I thought.
Yeah,
It was rough.
yeah. And then she's like, well, why do you want to focus on the bad? Now, I've been studying this for like 3 to 4 years at this point, where she's asking me these questions. Why are you looking for the problem? I go, because I was programmed for 40 years and I had confirmation bias, and my dad and everybody in the highest level, a lot of people, I don't like to name drop, but they were around teaching the technique. And so I always went to technique. Okay, and you got to understand what went wrong so you don't do it again.
To the fixing.
Always, and she wrote a book, and it has the fix-it fallacy, Mind Games Rodeo, Fix-it Fallacy, Chapter 7, the fix-it fallacy. Because I don't have a time machine. Can I actually go back and fix that?
In your mind, visualizing. I'm so scared to answer a question.
Never be afraid. That's the replacing thing that we talked about a minute ago, right? You recognize, oh, that's something that I don't want.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But we're not working on fixing it. We're working on, what do I want?
What did you want it to look like?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Yep.
And what it felt like. It's thoughts plus
Plus
belief, plus feeling,
Yeah.
multiplied by action. So if you screwed up, you can recognize, okay, I was too far left, or I didn't hit my pocket, or I checked my horse too hard, or I didn't drive him by the hurdle. Whatever it was, recognize it and you release it. Okay, I recognize the problem. Okay, you don't spend any time there, because you become what you think about.
You're rehearsing it in your head.
Right.
So, I was very, very blessed growing up. My dad played pro football. And when they're playing football, I mean, they have seconds before the next play. And so he would teach me what to do on how to let go of the last play. And he'd say, go back through it in your head, run it how you wanted to see it, convince yourself that's what actually happened, and move on.
That's it. That's the 4 R's right there. So you already knew it. You just didn't know.
I don't feel like I said an R at all.
You had all the answers and you didn't even know it. And that's the beauty of this, is that everybody does have the answers. You know, but sometimes there's just so much noise that's going on out there that it's blocked. And so that's what we're helping, is for people to get unblocked, essentially, and to understand who they are. And for me to say to him at that point, like, I'm not going with you, that's because I know who I am. And if he's not okay with that, then he's going to have to figure that out on his own. And that's where we want people to get to, is the place where they know who they are and can be strong in who they are regardless of the results.
And how did you end up getting results with him?
I beat him over the head now. No, actually, so I was studying and going through the process of becoming a speaker coach and trainer, and I would just drop subtle hints like, oh, this is amazing. You should, you should listen to this. You should think about this. Maybe you should do this. And he would say, no, that's okay. That's good for you. But go ahead, super encouraging along the way. I don't know, what was the transition for you? The thumb?
The beating over my head.
When he lost his thumb?
Yeah.
Well, no,
I think that was kind of the, like,
were you cooking? What happened?
Yeah.
Well, she just always so whatever she was doing, I was involved in. So she would go do some,
like my sound.
She would go on stage and she would talk to her group of, she worked with a group of young living, and that's a multi-level marketing natural oils. And so she got hooked up, they leveled up, they did all the things. So then so I was there helping with cameras and supporting her, and I'm always hearing, and she's always got something studying. We haven't had TV in 12 years. So we talk a lot. That's our entertainment. We read books. And so I was not a good reader, but I love studying now because there's a purpose behind it. I want to make sure everything that I explain to somebody, I can back it up 3 different ways. Scientifically, metaphysically, spiritually. And they all, like, whenever you get into science now is moving way closer than when I was young. They're in connection. They go harmony with God.
I think too, especially if you're a parent and you're working with kids, or if you are a spouse and you're trying to get your person to change their ways, so to speak, it's really important for you, like, do not hit them head on, because everybody comes to this when they're ready. We have clients that say they come in 4 years later and they're like, oh my gosh, we've been watching you for 4 years, but they weren't ready. And when you're ready, everything clicks and it makes so much sense, but you've got to be ready.
And that has a lot to do with God's timing too.
100%.
What are some of the barriers that you commonly see in athletes, and how do you coach them through those?
I mean, it's self-image. And it just goes back to what is everybody thinking about me? Who am I going to disappoint? That's a big one. What else? Gosh.
Am I good enough? I mean,
Yeah.
This is the biggest challenge. And so a lot of people in our industry will talk about getting into flow state. How do you get into flow state? Well, to get rid of all the noise is how you get in flow state. Because our natural, if you've ever watched a child, they're in flow state.
Yeah.
We're born in flow state. We confuse it because of the results and what other people think of us and what's going on. And in comparison, I'm going to compare myself. That guy's got a really nice hat. I wish I had a hat like that, you know? And it's like, oh, that guy has a real snappy shirt. I probably ought to do that so I can fit in. And that's that self-image part of everything is, am I good enough? Do I wear the right things? Am I tall enough? Am I fast enough? Who knows?
And I think barriers too, just thinking about what are the barriers for people is we're really steeped in a to-do society. Like if we just do something differently, and what we know is that the thinking process and the emotional process is what drives the to-dos. And so a lot of people are really focused in what they're doing, like back to the technique, right?
Taking action at
Yes,
some time.
got to take action. But the deal is we're taking action before we're fixing the driver of the action. And I said fixing. So we're changing the driver of the action, and we're reprogramming that so that it drives it in the right, down the right road, not down the wrong road.
The best way I explain it to clients now that finally make it simple, makes sense, is when you go to the doctor and you're complaining that you've had a headache for a week. What does the doctor give you? Tylenol.
Got one right.
Right. You did it. And so, does your headache go away?
Sometimes.
Most of the time. So now here's the actual question. If we're going to do some critical thinking, here's the question. Was it the lack of the Tylenol that caused you to have a headache?
No.
And so you got 2 for 2. I mean,
I need coach through this interview.
but that's your self-image.
I'm gonna have a test up here.
It's a test.
Sweating.
And you're doing wonderful because there's no wrong answer. It's just when we ask, then it just tells us who you are. And so
I don't think a horse is a horse. You know a lot about me now.
yeah, she doesn't even know what a horse is, and she's been at the best, highest level.
Been on it.
So whenever we go to the cause, I can tell you right now, and you can go check this out on the internet and go to any doctor that knows. Most of them don't, but it's a lack of you're dehydrated. And just even though you drink a lot of electrolytes or water, you can still be dehydrated if you don't have the right minerals in the physical body to have your cells absorb it. So these are the things that I study to make sure what we're doing so the body and the mind work together. And it is most techniques, the getting busy, work harder, that is secondary. That's the Tylenol. It might fix something temporarily, but it didn't address the cause. The cause is always your self-image. Like, I don't care answering. If someone asks me a question, I'll just say, how about this? And if I'm wrong, in front of everyone, and it doesn't impact me, I'll learn something. Because I know who I am. And that gets into another deeper conversation.
Well, that is interesting that you say that because, you know, I've heard there's all these people. It doesn't matter how hard you work. There's always the elite. And what makes the difference? Are they working harder than you? Probably not. So what is the difference? And that's what you're answering today. That it's their self-image. They believe that they are, and so they are. Well, quoting the Bible, like you did.
Absolutely. I was going to say something. I just.
Well, there's a good story out of a book called U Squared, and it's about a fly. And there's a fly, and he wants to get outside, and he's in the windowsill. And it tells a good story. I won't go the length, but he's trying to get outside, and it's obvious to him that just try harder. No matter how hard that fly tries, he's never going to get through that window. If he could just stop for a minute, look around, a foot to the right is an open door. With under a second of flying time, he would have the freedom he seeks. But he can see the outside, and it's the track. And he goes, I'll just try harder. And we do have clients that have made it in sports, hockey, baseball, and stuff to that level, and then been called up and then put back, and they wrote now. But they go, what's the difference? Because they go, I outworked everyone. I did not drink. I didn't chase girls. I didn't do all these things. And my friends, and I go, tell me, I'll give you one example. This one guy was a hockey player. And I go, tell me what you thought of Wayne Gretzky. He's like, my dad hated him. I go, your dad hated why did he hate him? Because he wasn't fundamentally correct.
Okay. And that's how you're finding where their core is.
And that's where
it's coming
that
from.
switch right there, because he did everything without any flair. Because that was a no-no in his household. And the greatest hockey player, most people would agree, at that time when he was growing up, because I asked him who was the greatest player at the time, statistically and everything, it was Wayne Gretzky. And so, but he couldn't go out and do the extra talent because it was not fundamentally correct. It wasn't this way. And so, and work harder than everybody. Well, he goes, I had friends that were doing all the things that I was refraining from, and they made it to the pros and made a good living, and we're good friends still. And I said, well, what's the difference? They weren't trapped in this belief system that was put into you by a dad who loved you and thought that's the way he knew to get to where it was. And it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Sometimes that is a good belief system. Just work hard and you'll have the success. If you believe in it, it will work. But you will only be as successful as your self-image. You'll never outperform your self-image. Maybe once or twice. That's the limit.
And people are often trying to be somebody else, right? Like you said, wrote in there, and there's all these traits.
Oh, I was me, and Todd wrote in there, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe I'm supposed to be
Sherry.
I need to be them. Yeah, in order
to be that.
Yeah, to and feel accepted in that moment.
Yeah, because we all want a sense of belonging, right? We all want to belong somewhere, and so the problem is we're trying to be somebody else because we don't recognize our own greatness. They all started just like everybody else somewhere along the way, right? They had to do all the things and figure out who they were along the way and in the process. So that's part of the deal is knowing who you are. You don't have to be somebody else. You can use their tips and tricks for sure, but you're awesome just the way you are.
And you'll never be as good as you could potentially be if you're trying to be somebody else.
Definitely.
Because, God gives you your own gifts and made you the way he made you for a reason.
Definitely.
Unique as a grain of sand. Unique as a snowflake. And whenever you work, see, we always work. When we work from our higher self to our lower self, life is easy and we're creating the life we want. But when we work just from the physical, the hard work, the techniques, those are all important and valuable after you understand who you are and after you understand that no matter what, when that thumb popped off, she jumped over the fence, Flagger handed it to her, and she's carrying it. And I said, honey, give me my thumb, please. Because I had two friends that were up there and their eyes were looking like, oh no, and they're getting ready to perform. And I said, give me my thumb. I grabbed it with my good hand, and it still had the rope glove on it. And I said, thumbs up, boys, go get them.
Okay.
True story.
You're so supportive.
I wanted them not to worry about me, let them know I'm all right. And then because of my training at that time, I wasn't coaching at that time, but because of my training and my belief system that I wasn't my results. I was shoeing horses and training horses. I had no health insurance. And I had a very low bank account because I just went to this big roping, and it was and I was rope 2 feet getting ready to go to the short rounds for 30,000. And I get a dally, nothing weird, and then all of a sudden the rope's flying, and so was my thumb.
You can see it in the video. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's not hilarious to me. I was attached to that thing for quite a while. But anyways, on the way to the hospital, she's driving, and I'm giving her directions. At that moment, the old me would say, "Why me, Lord? Why did this happen to me? Is this a sign for..." And there was none of that, because the old me is dead. There's a new me, and it's biblical, right? And so I was just giving thanks. Thank you, Lord, for the greatness that's about to come. It doesn't feel great in the moment, but I trust I'm going to lean on your understanding in this moment, not mine. And everything turned out, there's so many lessons just from that one thing, and it actually got me onto the Tenney trading team.
And that's how it happened.
That is how it happened. And all what he's talking about is clarity. We both know now we're clear on the direction that we're going. We're clear on who we are, right? And so that's what we're hoping for all of our clients is clarity about where they're going and where they want to go and how to help them get there.
And in order to become clear, the clarity that you guys are talking about, what are some of the strategies that we could all take with us today to become clear, to become mentally tough?
First one is the 4 R's, for sure, right? Again,
first, understand the thoughts plus belief
times
multiplied by
action.
physical action gets you a result.
Yeah.
And then understand there's a negative and a positive side to life. We call it knowledge and ignorance.
We're doing this because we have diagrams that we use, and so we're like, here it is.
You're seeing it, and you're
visualizing
right
there,
right here on the stage.
Yeah, we can visualize it anywhere because we try to teach our clients to visualize themselves as a mental master.
Yeah.
And ignorance is on one side where it's a negative thought, a negative idea. If you take that thought captive, you don't have to get emotional about it. Recognize, release, replace. You got to know what you want, though.
Yeah.
And so that's the key. Replace. We always say that's the one you bold, all cap. You recognize, I did this wrong, or this result, I didn't get the result I want. You can recognize that, you release it, and that takes about a split second. And then you replace it with what you want. It's like, what do I want? If I could have anything in the world, what would I want? I would have a successful business. I would have this type of horse. And then you start pondering on, okay, what skills do I have to make that happen? Do I know how to do it? If you already know how to do it, then you take steps and you can make a plan. That's the clarity.
Okay.
And so the clarity brings confidence, consistency, and gives you the control of your life.
Your why. That's your why.
Yeah.
Tell us before we close today, I want to hear about a success story through your guys' coaching with somebody. You don't have to name their names, but what's your favorite success story that you've had to this point?
There's so many. It's so hard to nail it down, but we could do a recent one.
Which one?
Tammy.
Okay, well, she didn't do the private coaching.
Oh, no, not their coaching specifically.
So we have a online video training program, and Tammy Justin, she got in there, and so all of these principles and concepts with the diagrams that we're imagining right here when we're talking with our hands, she went through that, and she probably only watched 15, 20 of the videos, but she took them serious and was rewatching them. She's won over $10,000 in 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
And
how much is the course?
That course is $300.
Well, that was a great investment.
Return on investment. And then our private coaching, so success. I'll just Trey Yates did the Charlie Crawford podcast. He did the X Factor podcast and mentioned us, and we've been coaching with him for a little over a year. And his success is he made it back to the NFR this year.
Oh, no, they live just down the road from me.
I know that.
That is interesting. Okay, well, I'm excited to maybe sign up for this. Where can we find it?
At TenneyTraining.com. It's pretty easy. You can go there and check it out. And we have 3 main options that you can pick from there. And then we always have a free interview. So you can click on the free interview and we'll see if it's a good fit, what you're looking for. And then that's when we decide who coaches, both of us, her or me. And it depends on the schedules and things of that nature.
And you can find us on Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
You know,
I found you on TikTok.
you did.
She's a TikTok. I tried it once, I guess. I got some stuff on there.
And look where you are now, right here on the most fearless show in Las Vegas.
We're fearless. We're fearless.
Okay, so before we close, last thing, what do you each, we'll do it separately, what do you say to one of your clients when they need to rope or ride fearless?
Remember who you are.
My mom says that to me.
She's brilliant.
She's brilliant. Oh my gosh, she's going to take that right there. That's going to be her profile. She's brilliant.
It's true. The truth will set you free.
And I think for me, it's the core of you is perfect.
Say that one more time.
The core of you is perfect. Just remember that. It's just pretty similar to that. And the power that you have is your free will. You get to decide what direction you want to go.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you guys so much for coming on the Ride Fearless show today. Please give one last round of applause for Tenney Training. Again, TenneyTraining.com if you guys are interested in covering these same courses that Trey Yates and some of the other pros right here at the NFR are taking. How to be successful, how to reach your dreams, and ultimately how to be fearless. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Oh, great, guys. Thank you.